With just weeks remaining before the first votes are cast, Republican presidential candidates have released brand new ads making their case to voters in Iowa and, of course, then New Hampshire. So which spots will have the most impact? Let's take a look. Postal Lee Carter is back with us. Hey, Lee, with Ms. Lansky and Partners. She's here to break down what each candidate's doing and presenting among the top tier. First off, Marco Rubio, on what topic?
He's talking about foreign policy, and he's attacking Obama. All
right, so let's take a look and see what independents, Democrats, and Republicans thought.
Today we face ever-growing threats. Radical Islamic terror, a lunatic in North Korea, a gangster in Moscow, and a president more respectful to the Ayatollah of Iran than the Prime Minister of Israel. Our allies don't trust us. Our enemies don't fear us. And the world doesn't know where America stands. On day one of my presidency, that will change.
All right, the grades, Lee?
The grades, overall, Republicans gave him a B+. They thought that it was sort of ho-hum. I think what's most interesting here, though, is that independents didn't respond to Rubio, and Democrats really dialed him down. And typically, Rubio's been polling the best with independents and with Democrats, and he's just not doing it with this ad.
Feeling guilty, Donald Trump said, I have to spend on an ad, so here it is. Let's take a look.
The politicians can pretend it's something else, but Donald Trump calls it radical Islamic terrorism. That's why he's calling for a temporary shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until we can figure out what's going on. He'll quickly cut the head off ISIS and take their oil. And he'll stop illegal immigration by building a wall on our southern border that Mexico will pay for.
It's kind of a best of the last 6 months. Nothing new there.
Nothing new at all.
And now what do we see? The GOP, independents, and Democrats.
GOP loved it, gave him an A. Independents sort of more in the middle of the road, gave him a B. Democrats a D. I think what's interesting, though, is that in the last little bit, he's also been pulling with independents. He just didn't do it here. I think one of the things that he's missing here is his whole appeal is this optimism. No matter what, he's got a plan that's simple. And this didn't come across in this ad, and he didn't do as well with the people who usually have been appealing.
It kind of just reminded me of just hitting the marks about what I've been saying, so here's an ad.
Yeah.
Here's Jeb Bush. He's talking about taking on ISIS. Do you feel secure with this approach?
The last 7 years under President Obama have taught us that problems do not take care of themselves in the absence of American leadership. The United States should not delay in leading a global coalition to take out ISIS with overwhelming force. We are at war with radical Islamic terrorism.
Okay, it's Jeb, it's not Bush. And what do the red, blue, and yellow say?
I think what's interesting here is that Jeb really pulled well with independents. He didn't go as high as other people did.
With Republicans.
With Republicans. But he did pull pretty well with independents. I think people were telling us they wanted to see a stronger side of Bush. They wanted to see him more passionate. He came across a little bit more so in this ad, and I think he did pretty well for Bush.
And more independents usually located in New Hampshire than Iowa, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so finally, let's talk about, actually second to finally, here's Ted Cruz explaining with the things, the morals and principles that fuel him.
Barack Obama sticks by his principles. It's time for Republicans to stand by ours. That's how we win. And that's how I'll lead. As president, I won't compromise the values that make us who we are. The Constitution wasn't a first draft. Our border isn't a revolving door. And the rule of law wasn't meant to be broken.
Wow, look at that graph.
And this is the most surprising of all to me. I think both independents and Republicans gave him an A. You saw that it was really, really high. It showed a softer side of Cruz. I think a lot of people are concerned that he's bombastic and a little bit over the top. This was a really, really good ad for Cruz, and I think this was the best thing that we saw this week out of the political ads.
And Governor Christie's running ads. He's pledging to handle Gitmo and keep Gitmo open. And how is he grading? I know he's making tremendous progress in New Hampshire. Is it enough with independents?
You know what? With independents, he pulled, I would say Christie and Cruz were the best with independents. He had real intense reactions, and he does really well when it comes to security. So I think he's going to have a good showing in New Hampshire.
Right, and he's pretty steady at third behind Rubio in New Hampshire, if you believe the polls. Hey, Lee, it's getting intense.
Yeah, it sure is.
It's no longer too early to talk about it. It is here, 25 days away from Iowa. Lee Carter, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right.